What's going on, everyone? I like sports, back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be doing my second video in this series, should the Toronto Maple Leafs re-sign. And this player is going to be defenseman Ilya Lyubushkin, who is a great defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He really had a good season for the team after trading for him a few months ago. Lyubushkin, in his time with the Coyotes and Maple Leafs over the course of the entire season, he played 77 games. And of course, he's a defensive defenseman, so he only put up 15 points, but he certainly had an important role with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He played 31 games for the Leafs and 31 for the Leafs and 46 for the Coyotes. Over the course of his short career, just 4 seasons, he's played 211 games, tallying up 25 points. But Lyubushkin is a solid defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs that I think, coming into his unrestricted free agency, I think he's going to be a, somewhat of a priority for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You take a look at, the guys they have to re-sign, of course. There are some good players there, but I think Ilya Lyubushkin is a very important player, and I think he should definitely be looked at as an important piece for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think it's really interesting, and honestly, I think that he is a better version of Justin Holl. And the Toronto Maple Leafs gave Justin Holl $2 million, and he's set to make $2 million next season. But I think if you can get rid of Justin Holl, which I think the Leafs should do, and I think they have to make that somewhat of a priority to do, I think that they can kind of just move that money that Justin Holl was making and give that to Ilya Lyubushkin. Lyubushkin's 28 years of age. Like I said, he's an unrestricted free agent. And going into next season, the Leafs only have 5 defensemen under contract. Of course, Sandin and Liljegren are restricted free agents. And, you obviously have some guys down in, with the Marlies. You have Carl Dahlstrom, Mac Hollowell, but those aren't really guys that you're going to want to see playing on the NHL roster. So the Leafs have some work to do. Of course, they can sign some free agents, but I certainly think that Lyubushkin is going to be a priority. And because Kyle Dubas traded for him, I think he sees some serious play in him, and I think he really sees some value and has some interest in the player, and I think he really is going to try and make it a priority to re-sign Lyubushkin, and I think that's a smart move. Where is the value in Lyubushkin in terms of money? Well, that's the ultimate question that, is a really tough one to answer. Like I said before, if you can get rid of Justin Holl's $2 million and give that to Ilya Lyubushkin, I think that makes a ton of sense. I think Lyubushkin is worth $2 million, maybe even $2.5 million. I wouldn't try and go that high, but if you can get Lyubushkin on a, 4-year, $10 million deal or something like that, I think that certainly makes a lot of sense. That's $2.5 million a year for 4 years. I think Lyubushkin is worthy of a guy who can get a long-term deal, and I don't think you have to worry about it, especially at a low cap hit. He's a stay-home defenseman that and he's a right shot defenseman, something the Leafs really lack. But you know what you're going to get from Lyubushkin. He's, like I said, a stay-at-home defenseman that's just going to be, a hard, heavy, steady, defensive-minded defenseman. He plays with his body. He's got some size at 6'2", over 200 pounds. He's not going to be turning 29 until the end of next season, April 6th. So he's certainly in the sort of prime of his career. He started off his NHL career at 24 years of age, so he's still a young guy, and he still has, the best of, his playing days ahead of him. So I think it would be a really, really smart thing for the Leafs to sign Lyubushkin. I think Kyle Dubas is really going to go out there and try to sign him. I think he's going to make it somewhat of a priority, and I think that's a smart move. But like I said, Lyubushkin, he does a lot for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. In the playoffs, he was huge. He played, he had a pretty heavy load in the playoffs. He played all 7 games. He was a very physical guy, like I said, and I think that's something that you want to see from a guy like Lyubushkin. And like I said, I don't think Dubas brings in Lyubushkin via trade if he doesn't see something in him and if he doesn't want to re-sign the player. I think Lyubushkin's a solid guy, and I ultimately think that the Leafs will go out and re-sign Ilya Lyubushkin. I think it'll be a 2 or 3 year deal, but what I'm hoping is, for me, a ideal thing would be a 4-year deal at $8 to $10 million. That would be solid for the Leafs and solid for Lyubushkin. Like I said, 4 years at $2 to $2.5 million per year, and get rid of Justin Hall so he could take over that Justin Hall role at the at the same amount of money, or at least a similar amount. I think that would be ideal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But that's all I got in this video, guys. You guys let me know down below in the comment section your thoughts on Ilya Lyubushkin. Would you re-sign him, and at what contract? I think the Leafs should, and I think the Leafs will. Let me know your predictions, what you would do, all that good stuff down below in the comment section. And as always, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We'll see you guys all in the next video. Go Leafs, go!